everyone, it's Sarah from Sassy Reads, and today I'm bringing you the last edition of my book haul, and I have historical fiction, some poetry, and some children's books, as well as one science fiction book that I forgot to mention in my science fiction book haul. I have The Tommyknockers by Stephen King. Naturally, I forget like the biggest book that I got by him. This one is a alien sci-fi novel. I'm excited about this one. I kind of just want to go in blind. I don't want to know what these aliens do. I don't want to know what they look like. I want to be scared, and aliens scare me, so let's do it. The next one is one that I have been wanting to read forever. One that has been read in my school, but I wasn't in the class I got to read it, so like I missed out when I was in middle school. One that like has a beautiful UK cover that I want so bad, and I love it so much, but I haven't bought it, and it's always like not on sale. So I was like, okay, well I just get the ugly US edition that's on sale, because it's not that bad. I mean, it's not the worst cover, and the more I look at it, the more I like it, because it's got gold foiling. But it is The Book Thief by Marcus Zizek. Yes, if you have not seen the UK cover, it is gorgeous. It has Death dancing with Liesl, the little girl, and I'm really excited to read this because it is Death narrating, and it's about, oh my god, there's art in here. I did not know this. This is so exciting. I don't want to spoil myself. Okay. Yes, oh my gosh, I'm excited. I actually want to read this one this summer, so this is like a priority read. The next one I have is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. This one is the winner of the Pulitzer. Look at how beautiful this cover is. It's so pretty. And me and Pulitzers have an odd relationship. Like, I love The Handmaid's Tale. I did not like The Road, but I'm hoping to at least enjoy this. Like, I hope I at least give this 3 stars, because otherwise I'll be really sad. I love World War II, fiction, and history, and so like I'm hoping that this one will be good. I don't know when I'll get to it, but I have it, and I'm excited. And I love the color gradient. It's so beautiful. I just love it. The next one I have is also famous. Like, this one's been recommended to me since like middle school, and I just now bought it, and like I'm late. It's The Boy in the Striped Pajama by John Boyne. Yeah, I don't think you need me to tell you what this is about. I mean, I assume everyone knows what this is about. It's got the Holocaust bars. I mean, that and the boy is a little boy who is seeing the Holocaust camps, and he does not see them as prison costumes, but as pajamas. It's kind of sad, and I'm actually really excited to read this one. It says, deeply affecting, beautiful and sparsely written. I like that. Powerful and unsettling. As memorable an introduction to the subject as Diary of Anne Frank. I don't want to see what's under the sticker, so I'm taking the sticker off. Sometimes they fall to the ground, sometimes they do not get up. Shit, that's damn. Kids were reading this? I'm glad kids were reading that. I wish I had read that in middle school. You know what I read in middle school? It by Stephen King. House of Red Twilight and the House of Night books. I went from, in middle school, this doesn't have to do with the book, but since we're on the topic of reading hard books when you're young, I think that you should read books that you're not ready for, because it turned me into a better person and a better reader. Like, I was not ready to read It by Stephen King, but I became a better reader because I read something that was completely out of my comfort zone, completely just out of the ballpark for what a 12-year-old should be reading. And yeah, I became a more empathetic person for that. And like, I read a bunch more of his books. Like, I read Carrie, Salem's Lot, 4 Past Midnight, Night Shift, and The Cycle of the Werewolf, and then I stopped. And I started again, so that's good. Because I love Stephen King, but when I think about like books that I've read in middle school, I also read like a lot of books that dealt with like drugs. So like, you know, the Ellen Hopkins books. I read this one. It wasn't Ellen Hopkins. It was by, I think she's only ever written one book. It's by Linda Glovich. It's called Beauty Queen. And it was about a girl who becomes a stripper and gets addicted to heroin. And that was, I still remember sentences of that book because it stuck with me so much. I read Flowers in the Attic in middle school, which still remains to be one of my favorite books. I love Flowers in the Attic. Made me appreciate my mom. See? So, I was reading books that I probably shouldn't have been reading, but it made me appreciate the world better, and it made me see that people go through struggles I may not actually have knowledge of. I think books like The Boy in the Striped Pajamas are really important for those kind of, this happened in history, and I hate to say this, but it'll probably always happen because this is not the first time or the last time that the Jews will be persecuted or that any other race or religion will be persecuted, and that's really sad, but history shows us that this is always a cycle and it happens constantly. And I don't know, I just think it's important that we become more empathetic towards each other and we want to help each other. So I'm excited to read that one. This video is gotten far away from a book haul. I'm sorry, but I know if you have any thoughts on what I just said, I'd really like to discuss this with people. I just want to know, what are your thoughts on just children reading books that are probably not books that are targeted towards them. I'm not saying go and pick up 50 Shades of Grey. That's not targeted to children at all. I'm saying a book with content like Flowers in the Attic or like The Boy in the Striped Pajamas that is written for young adults but has content that may have parents raising their eyebrows. It's important. It's very, very important. Very, very important. Next one I have is Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. This one I think also would be really good for children to read who want to be poets. I'm going to read this poem because this is my favorite poem in this collection. I gave this poetry collection 4 stars. I have a lot of problems with it, but overall it's very good and really enjoyable, but this one's my favorite. It says, it's from the first part. It's page 19 if you're interested. Every time you tell your daughter, you yell at her out of love. You teach her to confuse anger with kindness, which seems like a good idea till she grows up to trust men who hurt her, because they look so much like you. And it's called To Fathers with Daughters, and it has a little sticker. And yeah, that one just touched me the most. But I really like this one because it's very personal, and I connected with it in a lot of things. It's very hard to read. Trigger warnings for if you have abuse, like sexual abuse. But I also think that if you are a victim of sexual abuse, that it could help you find solace, because some of these poems seem as if Rupi Kaur is coming to solace. But just because she was able to does not mean that these will be able to. I am not rushing to recommend it to anybody who has experienced abuse, because I don't know where your healing process is at. So the next 2 books I have are children's literature. I have Anne of Avonlea, which is the sequel to Anne of Green Gables. I loved Anne of Green Gables, and look at how adorable this cover is. And this takes up 5 years after Anne has come to Avonlea, so I'm sure it picks up right after what happened in the last book, which destroys my soul. Oh, that book, it kills me. That's a book that if you want to hand a young reader, they will be like, why did you do this to me, Mom? Because I love you, honey. I'm teaching you to be a better person. Dry your tears. Speaking of another children's book, I remember when I was in 4th grade, and everybody in the higher reading group, I was in the 2nd highest reading group, they got to read this book, and I was jealous because it became a Hallmark movie that same year, and I didn't get to read it. But it's okay, because I was in the core reading group. We read the horror novels and stuff, scary stories to kids in the dark and all that. So obviously it shaped me into more of a reader than I thought. But it is The Picture of the Palace Woods. I found this in my mom's room, and I was like, I'm taking this back because I don't think I ever read this, and I want to. And so these are the books. I also have the Tommy Knockers right here. Let me know down below if you've read any of these, what you think of any of them. Let me know what your discussion is on, younger children reading bigger content. And I'll see you later. Bye.